So I got the hood back on. I had it outside. And I soaked it down with some spray 9. That stuff's pretty good for degreaser. I didn't use engine degreaser, just spray 9. So I soaked everything down and got a lot of the grease, buildup of oil off the inside there. Looks a lot cleaner. I degreased all the linkage inside here. I'm going to put a little bit of lithium grease on here. I got the deck off and scraped it, power washed it. It wasn't too bad. The deck's in really nice shape. There's no holes in it. It's not rotted. A little bit of surface rust in there. This was all covered in oil. Everything was pretty well caked in there. Wiring cleaned up just a little bit. That's good enough. So I slid the deck out, got the belt off, and I soaked everything with spray 9. You don't want to get spray 9. You don't want to get anything on the belt, so I just took it off. It's easy enough. The blades, I did engage the deck at one point when I had it all together, and they were shaking pretty good. So the blades are not terribly dull. Somebody has sharpened them, but they're not balanced. So I'm going to pop them off. I'm going to sharpen them, balance them. These spindles have grease fittings in here, one on each. The front axle has grease fittings. I'm going to get those blades off, sharpen them, balance them, put them back on, slide the deck under, and all the moving parts is going to get some type of grease, some type of either engine oil out of a little oil can, or some grease. We're going to get it figured out, make sure everything is working perfectly, adjust all the tensions that need to be adjusted, replace a bunch of cotter pins that look like they've been taken out and reused a few times. I don't like doing that. I normally just replace them. Got lots in stock. They're cheap to buy. Buy a bulk set. Random different cotter pins in one kit. They're cheap enough. Nice and clean in here. Still haven't got a battery for this. I'm still using my great big giant RV battery for now. Anyways, I wasn't going to spend the money on a battery if I wasn't sure that the tractor was going to make it. So we'll get that done and get it under the tractor. I might shoot some video of me getting the deck back under. I'm gonna have to wiggle the tractor over to one side in the shop, get a little more room. Okay, we'll get back in a sec. Alright, so I've got the deck slid back underneath the tractor. I've sharpened the blades. I balanced the blades to make sure they were good. There's 2 grease fittings on the spindles underneath. Some newer machines have a fitting up here that you reach. This one happens to be underneath. That was fine. I had the deck off anyways, so it was easy to get to. So I greased the spindles and balanced the blades and got everything all set there. I'm going to reinstall the deck. You're not going to see most of that just because I can't get under there and the camera and everything as well. So hook the front back on this deck. It's quite easy actually. There's a little bar you pull, and then the deck's got a bar that hooks into a pivoting hook on the front, and then there's one rod that goes through the back, and then a couple of little control rods with cotter pins to keep it secure. I'm just going to hook the front on here. That's it. That's as easy as this is at the front. Anyways, the back, there's a control rod back here that's got to hook into the top of the deck, and that's the lever that actuates the blades. Spring. There should be a washer and a nut for it. Got to gather some parts together here because I got moved around when I did my pressure washing. Let me locate those. I'll get the camera flipped back on. Well, you're not going to see a whole bunch of what's going on under here. I'm going to try and get the best shots that I can. So there's the clutch rod that activates the blades is sitting under there. That's going to hook into that pulley that you see on the top. That's on a swinging arm, and that engages and disengages the blades. So what I'm going to do first, I think, is I'm going to get that the rear of the deck lifted up into position. There's multiple holes in this. I'm going to see which one it was in. And it was in the bottom one. Makes it pretty straightforward. And this rod goes through all the way to the other side. That holds that in. There's a spring on this lever. That's got to go in there. There's a washer that goes on the end of that. And a cotter pin goes through it all to hold it all together. New cotter pin. Because we splurge here. We always make sure we have nothing but the best. The little stuff that we work on. Okay, that's on. Get the belt in there. I'll go to the other side and get the cotter pin in that shaft that holds the rear of the mower up. We don't need that falling off. Not much sticking out of there. Well, that's in the wrong place. That would explain that. Completely in the wrong place. The rear of the deck isn't even lined up right. It's got to go on the other side of that bar. Let's see if you guys can see what I'm looking at here. You see? Somewhat. There you go. Now you can see. The rear deck needs to move over a little bit. There we go. That's the right place now. With that situated in the right place. Lowest hole through there to that place. Come around the side. Well, that fits better. There was no washer on that. I'm gonna find one and put one on. Pretty sure this is supposed to be. Huh. Looking at the mark here, this is where it was. In the top hole. That would make an uneven deck if I had installed it in there. That washer's good there. Out of the junk bin. And not much room for the cotter pin after getting the washer in. That's good there. Well, the deck's going up and down. That's a good thing. Looks alright. This here it's got a lock nut on the back of it. I'm gonna get a little grease on that. Got some spray grease. It's handy for those things. A little bit of grease on there. It's not too thick, so grass and mud and stuff is not going to get stuck to it too easily. Move everything that moves. Even sounds better. Not so crunchy. Alrighty, we're going to go to the other side. We're going to get the belt guard put back on. The belt is looped around the crank pulley. Just got to get the guard back on. Try and get a light in there. Okay. You guys see alright? Hopefully. Alright, on this side over here, all I had to do was loosen the bolt. And that allowed me to move it far enough. Move the guard, the belt retainer. Allowed me to move it far enough to get the belt off the pulley. There it is. Now we got to try and get everything up in there at the same time. Can he do it? Yes. Yes. It'd be much easier if I had a lift table, but one day we'll get there. Can't have everything. So this little wire guard just holds the belt near the pulley, so when you disengage the blades, the belt doesn't fly off the crank pulley. That gets annoying after a while. You'll see some machines that somebody will change the belt, instead of actually loosening this stuff, they cheat a little and just bend it out of the way, and then the belt reliably flies off just about every time you use it. This side here needs a wrench, can't get a socket in there. The steering arm is directly underneath this bolt. And it doesn't matter if I turn the steering all the way left or right, still can't get clearance to get to this bolt and tighten it up. And maybe tomorrow I'll head over to the parts store and get myself a battery. Almost tight. Almost there. It was cool this morning here, but I had the garage door open, tinkering around. But now it's actually getting warm and muggy, so I got the AC on again and the door's closed. Alright, that's tight. I'm going to pull the lever to engage the blades. See how far it goes. Yeah, see, it's looking a little loose to me. Well, it's looking loose. Well, the deck all the way down to the ground too. That's going to definitely change our adjustment. The belt could be stretched a little bit as well. I'm going to leave the blades engaged and lift the deck just a little. You wouldn't necessarily cut with it that low, anyways. I got it set on right in the middle. Right in the middle for height. That's a little better on the blade, or the the belt. But I imagine it's there goes the light. I imagine it would still slip. Actually, turning the motor over, pulling the back of the belt, and turning the engine over. Well, maybe it's not that bad. Huh. Maybe. Maybe. Just checking for the travel of that pulley. That belt's not too bad. We'll give it a shot anyways. If I have to adjust something later, I can always adjust it. I'll get it into some thicker grass and see how it goes. For now, I'm going to lift the deck all the way up. I'm going to cut this video off here until I can get a battery in there, and I think maybe I'll try cutting my grass with it. See what happens. There's no bagger on this. It's not a mulching deck. It's a it's just a direct outlet. I don't even know if there was anything available for this. Possibly. But I know it would have had a plastic chute on there. Just basically an extension to come out. Most people take them off anyways because you can't get close enough to trees or objects when you're cutting, so they usually take them off and put them to the side. It's coming along. It's coming along. Not too much left. I'm going to try and figure out something with the lights maybe. I'm going to jump on, maybe I'll jump on eBay. I don't want to buy a brand new set. Well, maybe I'll jump on eBay and see if somebody's got something used kicking around, or get the lights hooked up and working. If not, what I think I'll end up doing is just, I'll get a piece of something, aluminum, sheet metal, maybe diamond plate, something, just to go in there and fill that gap, because it looks like hell without it. I didn't check to see if the light wiring was working, but I mean, it's 2 wires. Can't be hard to figure out. Alright guys, we're going to cut this part off here. This is part 3 of this lawn tractor video. And I'm going to get a battery, and sure, I'll find something else I got to do to it. Maybe I'll wax it. We'll see how that goes. So this is going to be the last little piece of the part 3 video. I did a little bit of wiping. I cleaned it down. Give her a quick coat of speed wax. And I actually cut my back grass with it. So it works pretty good. Cuts nice. Runs great. All the oil is done burning out of the muffler. By the time I got to the end of the yard, it stopped smoking out of the muffler, so that's good. So the engine isn't burning oil. It's just burning off what was in the muffler. So the next step for this tractor is going to be put on the front lawn with a for sale sign on it. Let's see what we can get for it. It was an interesting project. A couple of little odds and ends, little weird things here and there cropped up. I went to cut the grass with it and ended up one of the safety switches underneath the deck wasn't working, so it wouldn't start for me again. So I got all those cleaned up and everything's ready to go now. So I guess we're going to sign off this video. That'll be the end of it, and we'll see what we have next coming into the shop. I do have a couple of things in mind. I got a 8-horse snowblower that needs to come in, get a going over, and see what we can do to sell that for the winter. I have a 22-inch string trimmer with a 6-horse Briggs on it. That's got to get fixed up, and it's got to. I'm going to have to pull the carb off of that and clean it. I know it doesn't run right. Those are pretty amazing machines. Those big string trimmers. They work pretty good. But yeah, this worked out nice. Neat little project. Don't have all kinds of money put into it. Had to buy a battery. It's got a brand new battery in it because I didn't have one just in stock to put in it. I spent I don't know, a couple bucks on a carburetor gasket, a bowl gasket, and other than that, it was just time. So not a whole bunch of extra invested on top of the initial purchase. and we'll see if we can make some money on this one. And that money will go towards buying more broken stuff and fixing it up. Alright guys, thanks for coming with me on the ride. I learned a little bit, always do. And I hope you enjoyed yourself, didn't bore you too much. Until the next one. Thanks for joining me. Please like, comment, subscribe. And we'll keep making videos. Thanks.